So finally, sort of yet another step back in a certain way, but moving closer in other ways, I wonder if you could share your thoughts on how global exchanges of any sort expand our capacity for remaking. There's, as you know, a lot of intensity at the moment around certain types of political retrenchments. But in terms of global exchanges that you're part of or are aware of, how do these add tangible value to the student experience and the staff experience?
All the more important given exactly the problems that we're seeing of ethno-nationalist hyper-nationalism rearing its head with all kinds of exclusionary racism and violence against minority populations. So cross-cultural understanding, cross-cultural communication has never been more important for every society around the world. And it's something that I think, if Trump's taught us anything, he's taught us that it's something that's quite precious and quite vulnerable. And so I think it's vital for anyone who cares about peaceful coexistence on the planet, sustainable life on the planet Earth, to think seriously about the value of global exchange for cultivating cross-cultural understanding and also collaboration again. So universities can do this in a variety of ways. Obviously there's the old-fashioned study abroad opportunities that exist, and those are really valuable, but they need to be done well in a way that avoids them becoming a kind of modern day or 21st century version of the Grand Tour, where just affluent students get to go on a holiday and get university credits and really pretty much just involve themselves in objectifying some landscape that seems exotic to them. Obviously that is not the way we should be going about global exchanges, but there's so many other great models of overseas service learning and of much more thoughtful, engaged kinds of global study abroad that are important, but they're not accessible to everybody. And so I think another thing universities should concentrate on is a golden opportunity most big universities like HKU have right inside their institutions. And that is that they've become magnets for students from all over the world. And I've seen this here in the Common Core tutorials, a wonderful mix of students from around Asia in particular, but elsewhere as well, some from Europe, some from America. And that's an opportunity that I think universities need to put more thought into structuring. How do you get those different students from different backgrounds to learn from one another? At my university, I think we've got a long way to go on that front. The university has tended to treat international students first and foremost as a market. They're serious about offering those students a good education. That, I don't want to take away from that. But there's another layer that could be reached where, for example, we could create buddy systems where people who've grown up in the local context buddy with a student that's come from far away, and they learn from each other. In my context in Seattle, a Washingtonian student could learn from a student from Beijing and maybe learn a little Mandarin. And the student from Beijing could be introduced to the Washington situation, a culture in Seattle, or more broadly, in a way that's much more from a sort of a student's personal perspective, familial perspective. And that would lead to much more cross-cultural knowledge and understanding than just going to a classroom.